7 details you totally missed on Grey's Anatomy. Fans of Grey's Anatomy have learned to pay close attention to every single detail in the show because sometimes even the littlest things can predict huge events later on. The special 300th episode was full of Easter eggs and nods back to previous seasons, but similar moments are sprinkled all throughout the show, even going back as far as Season 1. So here are 7 details you totally missed on Grey's Anatomy, brought to you by TV Screener. Number 7. Dream a Little Dream of Me, Season 5, Episode 1. In this episode, Meredith is having vivid dreams of Derek losing his life in an accident. As most fans know, Derek does eventually pass from complications related to a car accident in Season 11. Not only did Meredith's dreams predict how Derek would leave 6 seasons ahead of time, she even says at one point in the episode, it's the nightmares that always seem to become reality. The person that invented the phrase happily ever after should have his ass kicked so hard. Did the writers really know this early how Derek's life would end and that they wouldn't get their happily ever after? Number 6. The original team. For a group of best friends who are interning at the same hospital, these 5 sure have been through their share of tragedies. It's understandable that as surgical interns you deal with other people's tragedies every day, but have you ever noticed that all of the original 5 had surgical complications of their own? In Season 1, Cristina had her ectopic pregnancy, and George was dragged under a bus trying to save someone and passed after several surgeries. Izzy is the easiest to remember, also going through several surgeries for her cancer. Then we have Karev, who survived a gunshot wound to the chest, and Meredith, who needed an emergency C-section as well as surgery after the fact on her spleen. In reality, 5 interns at the same hospital all getting surgery within a couple years of each other would be pretty rare, but maybe the show just doesn't want us to be happy. Number 5. Cristina Yang's article. Ever since fan favorite Cristina Yang left the show on the Season 10 finale, everyone has been wondering if she'll make a return. We may have gotten a hint of her return in a recent episode where Meredith asks Teddy if she's read Cristina's latest article. The camera then briefly cuts to a shot of the article along with Cristina's picture, which was definitely quick and easy to miss if you looked away for even a second. It could just be a way of keeping Cristina relevant in Meredith's life. We like to think they stay in contact way more than the show lets on. Or it could be an actual hint that we may be seeing more of Cristina again soon. Number 4. Karev's CGI. Believe it or not, Grey's Anatomy almost didn't include fan favorite Alex Karev. He's one of only 4 characters who have made it through all 14 seasons, along with Meredith Grey, Miranda Bailey, and Richard Webber. But Karev almost wasn't a character on the show at all. When the pilot episode was shot, Karev wasn't even present. He had to be digitally added into the episode later, a detail hard to ignore after seeing it. Apparently, the writers realized they wanted a male who could play the opposite of George O'Malley. Number 3. The Doppelgangers. There were plenty of Easter eggs in the 300th episode of Grey's Anatomy that fans caught on to. The main callback of the episode to previous seasons was that doppelgangers of George, Cristina, and Izzy all come into the hospital that day for treatment. Though it was clear that they looked like Meredith's old friends, the details go even further. Most fans may not have noticed that the doppelgangers not only looked like George, Cristina, and Izzy, but they were wearing similar clothes to what the originals wore in the pilot episode. George had on a brown coat, Cristina had on a leather jacket, and Izzy wore a pink and purple sweater. This small detail just added more to the nostalgia, making us miss our favorite interns even more. Number 2. The Deadly MRI. Even fans who know every plot detail may have missed this small mistake, but anyone who knows how an MRI machine works was probably confused to see a woman with a fork in her neck ordered to get an MRI. It's a funny story of how Sylvia ends up with a fork in her neck. While her and her husband were on vacation, Sylvia decided to give him some special attention under a dinner table. Because of a brain aneurysm she wasn't aware of, Sylvia uncontrollably bit down on her husband, who reacted by stabbing her in the neck with a fork. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that trained surgeons who should know that an MRI machine is basically a big magnet ordered a woman with metal in her neck to go into the machine. In reality, the fork would have been pulled out of her neck and endangered her life. Number 1. Hidden pregnancies. Both Ellen Pompeo and Jessica Capshaw, who played Meredith in Arizona, were pregnant at times during the show when their characters were not. In order to hide Pompeo's stomach, the writers gave Meredith an easy out. She ends up donating her liver to her father, which puts her on bed rest for quite a while. The big pillows and fluffy blankets were the perfect way to hide her belly. Capshaw, on the other hand, didn't have it so easy. Instead of getting to hide behind blankets, they just dressed her in a lot of black outfits with jackets that helped hide her bump. Never underestimate the power of camera angles. Thank you for spending some time with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. And we have also selected these videos that we think you'd like watching next.